Hello everyone, my name is Nikhilesh. I welcome you to my channel RP TechnoHub. In today's session, we're going to learn about one of the most important and frequently used variables in UiPath called data table. So far, we have seen the variables that store singular values like string, int32, boolean, etc. and also about the variables that store multiple values like array, list, and dictionary object. So these variables can hold single data type values in a given point of time. Whereas the data table that stores multiple values of multiple types in a tabular format. So tabular format as in row column format. So here you can see this image wherein the data is placed in row column format. So we'll see a simple use case that covers build data table, get row item, and for each row activities in UiPath, and also about the methods to retrieve the data from data table in different ways. Now let's get started to see how we can implement this in UiPath. I hope my videos are informative. If you think so, please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And also do not forget to click the bell icon to get notified on my new videos. Now let's get started. So to be able to use the data table, right? So you need to just type in data table in activities. So here you can see the list of activities that support data table. So just drag and drop build data table. And here you see this build data table activity got wrapped up in a sequence container. Just rename it as data table space hyphen sequence. And now just click on this data table button inside the build data table activity. Just click that and a new window popped up saying build data table. And here you can see the two columns by default as column 1, column 2, and two different rows. So just delete the first row, and here you can edit the first column. Just click this to be able to edit the first column, and so here you can name the column. So I'm naming it as name, and I will keep the data type as string. If you want to change this, right, you can just click on this drop down and select the data type that you want. Okay, and allow null, so by default it will be checked, so it'll allow null values as well. So if you just uncheck it, right, so it will not allow you to enter any null values in this particular column of the data table, right? So auto increment if it is an integer, right? So if you just check this, so the number will auto increment it as and when you add a row to this particular data table. Okay, and default value, so whatever the value that you keep in here, right? So that would be the value that that would get auto populated in all of the rows of this particular data table for this particular column called name. Okay, so I'm not going to use any of this, but unique. So if you just check this, right, so it will not allow you to enter any duplicate values inside this particular column. Okay, so it will make sure that all the columns are unique. So I'm just I'm just not checking it, so it can have duplicate values also. So maximum length, so here you can increase the length. Okay, so by default it will be 100, so I'm just keeping it as is, and the rest of fields are also as they are. Just click on OK. Okay, name column got added, and click on this edit, and I'll name it as city, and I'll change the data type as string, and I'll keep the rest of fields as they are and click OK. And now to be able to add the third column, right, so all you need to do is that just click on this plus symbol and give the column name, this time age, and in 32. So I'll keep the rest of fields as they are. So I do not do any changes. So just click OK. And now you got three columns created inside the data table. And what is our next task? So we need to add records or rows to it, right? So just click here and name. So I'll say Mr. A, and city as Hyderabad, and age I'll give 24. And here you need to do, you need to just press a tab so that it will go to the next row, and that way you can add rows. Okay, just do Mr. B, and Delhi, or you can say New Delhi, and here I'll say 26, give a tab, Mr. C, and I'll say Bangalore and 27, and give a tab. Mr. D, and this way you can add the number of rows that you want. So here I'll say Mumbai, and I'll give him the age as 21. This way you can add a couple of records, and after that you can click OK, and here our data table got created, and that requires to be stored in a data table variable. So just do Control K here, and I'll keep it as persons details. Just click OK, and here you can see that a variable got created as system.data.datatable, right? And we are good here. Now, how we can get each value out of this data table? Okay, so for that, so here if you see, for each row, you can see for each row. So far we have used for each for list and arrays, wherein we need to give the type of argument explicitly. But here in for each row, you need not give any argument type as such, because it can data table can hold multiple values of multiple data types, right? So that's the reason you need not explicitly specify that. So here you just specify the data table that which you want to iterate through. So that is persons details, which I just created. Here you can see that person details. Just select that, and just use get row item. Okay, just drag and drop that get row item, and here you can specify the column name that you want to pick, or column index. So first column will always be represented with 0 index, right? And here the row should be the argument name. So here it is the argument name, right? So just uh, type that in here, row. Okay, just row variable, and value would be written into a variable. So Control K. So what is that first name, right? So I'll just name it as name. And if I this way I can print all the names. Just do box, and where your name is getting stored. So inside name, right? Name. That's it. So this way you can print all the names. Now let me just run this in debug mode. So Mr. A, Mr. B, Mr. C, Mr. D. So if you want to print couple of, let's say this data table has got 10 different columns. So to be able to print each and every value, or to be able to use each and every column value. So if you use get row item, right? So there will be couple of activities placed inside your workflow. Get row item for each and every column. So that will be, you know, that will make you work a lot. So otherwise, you can use, so here I'll use right line. The simple way to get the data from data table row is that right line, just use right line. And so here the argument is row, right? So just use, so I want to say the name is, okay, the name is, and then say row of, this time I'll use index, that is first row of 0 dot toString, okay, less comma age is, so the last column I want to print, right? This time just click this, control plus age is plus, this time I'll use row of, which is argument for that for each data row, and this time I'll use column name, that is age dot toString. That's it. Just do F5. Now what will happen is that all the names from the data table will be picked up and their age also will be displayed alongside. So let me just do run it in debug mode. And here you can see the output getting displayed. Let me just go to output console now. So here you can see name is Mr. A, age is 24. Name is Mr. B, comma, age is 26. And that way all the rows, all the records got displayed with their names and their ages, right? So if you want, you can use the index also, their index. So in that for each row, just do Control K and give index. So I'm just storing it as index, same name. Okay, index. The index will be created, and you can pass that serial number if you want to have a serial number, right? For that particular record, you can do. Just select this and use index plus one dot toString. You know this, right? Dot toString plus. Index plus one dot toString. Okay, here it is a typo. That is the reason it is showing me that error. Dot string. Yeah, very good. Click OK and just give a run now. So here you can see that index is also getting printed alongside the message that you are printing, right? So I hope the session is informative. If you think so, please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.